Thanks for joining. We're talking about house sitting. Search for, apply, and interview to land the best house sitting gigs so you can travel well for less. These house sits have saved me thousands of dollars. Part one, and it listed all of the sites that you can go to in order to look for house sits. The best one, honestly, is Trusted House Sitters. It is not as broad. It's mostly North American and Europe and UK, but it's the most robust online search that you can get. So I get probably 90% of my sits from. Find a house sit right up here, right? You can see it. It's easy. Find a house sit. Start in the US. House Sitters has a lot of sits in the US. Here, you can look by map. 7 little dogs. That's a lot. Okay, so in my world, that would be a pass, even if it's over Christmas and in Hawaii. But maybe that's just me. I travel full time. House sitting for me is one of the ways that I'm able to travel well for less. I have a limited income. And so the way that I'm able to stay away longer because I don't have hotel costs. So I can find a place that I can stay for 3 or 4 weeks. I just settle in. And I've been in San Diego since June. And many of you know San Diego has now been named the most expensive city in the United States. I've really enjoyed living in San Diego and haven't had to pay a cent. We went through the photos. There's a little dog. Okay, so she's got nice photos. The place looks relatively clean. Things are put away. It's not a mess all over the place. So that's my first one. She is a husband and wife, tells you a little bit about where they are. They're in Lincoln Park, and they can't always bring Rudy the dog with them. So it tells you the home and location and all of the amenities that they have. Again, heating, no air conditioning. It's okay. For the winter, it's fine. And then here it is, morning trip, midday short walk, evening walk, and additional outings if you're going around the neighborhood and you just want to take Rudy with you. And they get fed. He gets fed twice a day, out on the furniture. He's on the leash outside. If she pees in her bed, please hand wash the affected area and let it dry. So she's peeing out of excitement. So for me, that kind of puts it on high maintenance. I don't really want to be cleaning pee when I'm house sitting. Reading that, there's a challenge there. There would be a block here that says sitter reviews. So she's a first time. That's another red flag. Read it pretty closely and take that up with her during the interview to ask what that was about. Is Rudy a puppy? Is there anything that they're doing to train the dog so that I can continue that training? 2 weeks of Christmas and New Year's in Chicago in the winter, walking a dog in the snow and cleaning up pee in the apartment does not sound like a travel well for less kind of environment I want to be in. So I'm back where I started looking, right? So okay, Gurnee is way up here. So here's Chicago down here on the map, and here's Gurnee. I don't want to stay in Gurnee. I want these 4 in Chicago. Those are the ones that interest me. Evanston, it's a collar suburb of Chicago. It's okay. I like being in the city. Here is a cat and a dog, December 23rd to January. Zoe is the parent. She's looking for just after Thanksgiving a little bit, and then Christmas through New Year's. Okay, photographs. So it's one of the older homes in Chicago with the brick fireplace. There's a kitty cat. Not too bad. Not too much clutter. Okay, it's probably one of the 6 flats in Chicago. Here's a dog. It's a medium-sized dog. Oh my gosh, one of those lovely pitties that's on your lap all the time. There's corgi-ish ears. Loves a car ride. Oh, look at the cat. Okay, so you look at the pictures. I look at the pictures first to see if the house is someplace I want to be. And then she's a social worker and professor. They've got a calico cat and an older pit mix. Leash reactive, so must be kept at a distance from other dogs. I got to tell you, as much as you may want to eliminate this from your house sitting repertoire, I found that like 75% of the dogs are leash reactive or aggressive, and you just cross the street. So if you're not comfortable with that, you shouldn't take the house sit. 1 bedroom, Albany Park. Okay, so Albany Park is not really in Chicago. It's probably a good 20, 30-minute train ride into the city. So that for me might be a little farther away, especially in cold weather where you're waiting outside for the train. Let you know about movies, And it's a cute little neighborhood. They don't have a washer and dryer, but you can pay to do your laundry in the building. And it's 420 friendly, which means that there are people smoking dope in the building. It's amazing the things they tell you, right? Yes. And all the amenities that they're showing you. So you can take a look if there are things that you're, again, no parking, which is very typical in Chicago. In fact, I don't take my car when I go to Chicago. So Pisces needs 3 to 4 walks a day. That's a lot. He gets fed twice. Brooklyn, you feed her twice a day and clean out the litter. Here are the sitter reviews. Very nice apartment. So this is 4 out of 5 stars. She may get a bit nervous, complicated if you don't have any training experience. Okay, so that is telling you if you are not an experienced dog walker, you probably don't want to participate in this as a house sitter. Okay, cleanliness, 3 stars. I'm not there to clean an apartment, and I don't want to be in a dirty apartment. And this is 5 stars. So again, some sitters more comfortable than others. There you go. Caring for Pisces in Brooklyn was a bit challenging. I wasn't aware of the severity of Pisces' reactivity until she attacked another dog on the second day of my house sit. No one wants that. But this is our vacation, or this is our time off. And so having the stress of an animal that may have issues that you are going to have to deal with, and reading these reviews are really important. Just because you looked at it doesn't mean you have to apply. This will take you through New Year's and Christmas as well, or Christmas and New Year's. Okay, there we go. 2 sweet girls. We've got a couple of dogs, 2 dogs. So the Greystones, in Chicago are sort of the older buildings, but some have been beautifully rehabbed, so you don't have to sort of worry about that. Okay, gourmet kitchen, and it looks really clean. That's nice. And a nice bathroom. I always wondered about this. Did you not think to close the toilet lid when you took the picture? Probably the guest room. Small interior, no window. That sort of stuff doesn't really bother me. Medium-sized dog, washers and dryers. Okay, looks neat. Loves to travel, grew up on a horse farm. Farm life is great, prefer the city. She's in Ukrainian Village, which is a really great neighborhood just west of the city, but easy access into the city. 2 bedroom, 2 bath, near Ukrainian Village, 2 bedrooms, pillow top mattresses, walk score of 95. Traditional Greystone, beautiful architecture, fully gutted, so they've completely redone it, which is awesome. You've got access to all the streaming services, office space if you need it, and a small backyard, and all the amenities. And then fairly easy, but do require walks. They need to be let out every 6 to 8 hours, which to me is normal. Like you get up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, you take them for a nice walk, and you come home by 4 to 6 in the evening, and you take them for another nice walk. And that allows you to have the day to go to the art museum and have lunch and, whatever you're going to do for the day. The backyard in the early morning or late evening, as long as you pick up. You've got to stay with her 2 30-minute walks a day. That's not bad, except that it is winter in Chicago, so dress appropriately. They have dry food. They're fed every 12 hours. There's pictures of Lucy and pictures of Kaya. So they're kind of middle-sized dogs. Reviews, look at these are all 5 stars. So when it's sort of 5 stars, I don't worry about reading them. It's when they get down to 2 and 3 stars that I worry about. And the other thing, she's got a lot of reviews. So she's been doing this for a while. Sweet dogs to sit for, great walkers, a well-behaved, calm dispositions. Jenny was a wonderful host, great instructions, awesome neighborhood, neat, clean, easy to care for. It was their first sit, and so they felt really lucky. I think that gives you a little idea of searching. Yes, and you just change the location. So if I wanted to do exactly the same dates and the same time frame, all I have to change Los Angeles. The region gets you a really broad swath of places. So Reseda, Lomita, Los Angeles, Studio City, and here's the map. So these are the 2 that are in downtown Los Angeles. Again, through Christmas and New Year's. There, we'll see where it is. But cats are very easy. You feed them, you clean the litter, you can be gone all day. Look at this house is minimalist and clean. Nice big washer and dryer for a couple weeks, right? Okay, look at clean bathroom again. Even if they just cleaned it for the photos, for one sitter only, no couples. Pets or partners, please. My husband and I are freelance filmmakers in Los Angeles, but it's not possible. We need responsible animal lovers. El Sereno, beautiful and quiet neighborhood in East Los Angeles, close to Highland Park, downtown Pasadena, Chinatown. So what I normally do would then go to the map and see where is El Sereno and maybe look up the neighborhood a little bit. Brand new house built in 2023. Okay, quiet residential neighborhood, great Mexican food, 5-10 minute drive to multiple stores, Albertsons, Target, Costco, and love our house and neighborhood. So amenities, dedicated workspace. So for me in LA, I am bringing a car. Do we have a free street parking? Okay, so if I was interested during an interview, I would have to ask them about that. How safe is the neighborhood? Can I leave my car on the street? I need that car to go to all these sits I'm going to. I don't have the time between sits to get a new car, to wait for it to get fixed or whatever it is. I need the car. So this whole parking thing is something that I keep an eye on, especially in cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles. It talks about their feeding. You get the little pill, dry food, cute little. Here we go. Nori. Look at that little gray one. And then sitter reviews, 5s, 5, 5, 5. It's a great one. And you're in Los Angeles for Christmas. If the neighborhood works out for you, you just scored Christmas and New Year's in LA. I would say you would rent a car. So you'd have to have the cost of the rental car to explore LA, beaches, whatever. And if you're in the snow, you'd be away from the snow for free. You're not paying for a hotel in Los Angeles for almost 2 weeks. Okay, so I think you get my drift on why I think this is such a great idea, right? We are looking at dates, obviously, the location, city, suburbs, rural. What are the pets like? Easy, low maintenance, high maintenance, and the duration of the sit. If you're just looking for a weekend, you'll probably find a whole lot more than I look for. Once you join the platforms, you can do your searching. I think you can search a little bit before you've joined, but you wouldn't be able to apply. And it's a really simple process. It's all online. It's all confidential. It's all very safe. They don't have your email. They don't have your phone number. Please don't worry about it. There's a reason that there's sort of a process here to protect both the host and yourself until you decided you're going to work together. So once you've decided that you want to apply, so you hit apply now. You found it, you looked at everything that they had to tell you, you liked what the reviews were, you were fine with that, and you hit apply now. And it tells you, focus on why you'll be a great sitter, reference the pets by name, and mention any relevant experience. So here is the application. It's basically like an internal email in the platform. Let me share with you my little secret on how I make this really, really easy. This document, it's a cut and paste, you guys. And when I need to do something, I change the name of the dog from Whitney to whatever the names of the dogs are. I have Whitney here as well, and I'll change it to your furry family. The key to this is short and sweet. Now you're looking at Christmas and New Year's, right? So it's a really busy time of year. I think Trusted House Sitters only lets them get 5 to 8 applications and then cuts it off until they reject people, because otherwise it could get very overwhelming. So you're reading through 5 to 8 applications, and you're not just reading my email. You're going to my profile. You're reading my reviews from other house sits that I've done. It's a lot of work on the host side. I've been using this cut and paste for quite some time. I just did one today, and within 5 minutes, I had an email inviting me to sit. I was like, thank you. I really appreciate that, but I don't accept a sit until I've had an interview or we've had a chance to talk. All I can tell you guys is that this works. And I just make sure I reference their name. So this is Jill, and I'll change that to the name of the person who's the host. But I've been house sitting. I love taking walks or hanging out with furry people, semi-retired, and I know the right questions to ask. So they want to know, I've mentioned this in part 1, our age is a benefit because we are problem solvers. We'll figure stuff out. We know when to call them when it's really important. Dates every day so that you know everything's fine. I don't want them calling me asking what's going on. I will send them some photos and say, we're all good. Hope you're enjoying, that sort of thing. And I'm happy to schedule a Zoom or a FaceTime. And so that's where it goes from an anonymous email to here's my phone number, or they send me a Zoom link within the platform, the message platform, or they do a FaceTime, whatever they want. And thanks for considering me. And then I have created this spot. People who are not on a platform can find out about my house sitting. So download the guide from part 1. It lists all of the house sitting platforms: New Zealand, Australia, some in UK. There's house carers. Some are for pay, some are not. You sort of negotiate it, some for bid payment. So now you've applied. And inbox within the platform after you've applied, it sort of starts generating there. And then once we've agreed, we go off that. And so we either go to text message or email, whatever they like. That's how you're sort of searching and then applying and then going back to the inbox on the platform in order to communicate with the hosts until you agree, and then they confirm and offer you the sit. I want to talk to you about the interview for a minute. There are red flags. We saw some of them in some of the sits I looked at, like a highly reactive dog. I learned last summer that I should have asked about air conditioning. I either missed it or wasn't paying attention to it. I don't know, it got up to 110 and this house had no air conditioning. So this summer, I asked everybody, and you have air conditioning? Well, I also learned this summer that I have to ask, do you have air conditioning in the bedroom? And I do not sleep well when I'm sticky and hot. I had a house sit this summer that had air. Yes, we have air conditioning, but didn't tell me there wasn't any in the bedroom. And the windows, I love sleeping with an open window. You know, if it's got a nice breeze or even a fan, I'm very happy with that. The window was over the main road that went to the freeway. These are things that you pick up during the interview. You read before you get on the interview with them. You talk about the dog and the behavior, the cat and the behavior. Cat questions. Are they nocturnal and running around the house all night? What time of the morning do they wake you up? Because cats don't care and they will wake you up. And are animals sleeping in the bed with you? It's not a good or bad question. It's something to be aware of. And if you don't want to be sleeping with an animal, then you shouldn't take that house in. But these are not things that necessarily come up in the interview. They may not have been written in the description. And so I have a list of questions that I sort of ask if they aren't covered during the interview, just to make sure we're clear and on the same page. You know, so there are all of these nuances. And honestly, you guys, when I started out, I didn't know any of this either. So I'm just trying to inspire you to do this and sharing my experience so that you just have wonderful sits. And honestly, 90% of my sits are fat. Nothing's going to be perfect. You don't want to find yourself, and especially in a long sit like I do, in an uncomfortable situation. The interview, your application, the communication you have can avoid getting into a bad situation. Is why this interview process is important, and also how people manage themselves during that interview. And sometimes they take you on a tour of the house, which is great. Ask for that, and they'll lift up their phone or their laptop and walk you around the house. And if that makes you feel more comfortable, go for it. If there were things that worried you about the photographs. So I'm not trying to warn you off about it, but I ask the right questions and have these conversations. And you, even though you've applied, you can always say thank you or no thank you. They may reject you, and that's okay too. You cannot take any of this personally, but you want to find yourself in a good situation because we're traveling. You may be going on 2 weeks of vacation where you really want to relax from work and enjoy yourself. I'm just trying to set you up to find great sits so you can really enjoy yourself. What was the percentage of house sits without animals? Like 1%. I think I've had 2 sits that didn't have animals. I keep all of my stuff when I first start out on an Excel spreadsheet so that I can keep track of what I've applied for and what's going on. So yellow is where I did not have a sit, and green are the ones that are all confirmed. This is June in Palm Springs for 21 days, and only 39 of these are in yellow where I had to find someplace to live. And one of them is this 23 days that I'm staying with my friend at my friend's house in San Diego. 16 days that I had to cover. And this only happened because the other sit that I had in Palm Springs that went from November 2nd until the 25th of November, canceled. From June until January, 13 sits during that period of time, and I only took short ones in between because I wanted to. But the bottom, these are all the rejects. So when you apply, you need to apply to more than one sit for the same date spread. You can't apply for December 16th to January 2nd and wait for that host to decide they want to interview you, and then you do the interview and then they reject you. You find all of the ones that you may be willing to say yes to between December 16th and January 3rd, and you apply to all of them. Signed at the same time. What I did, these are all of them starting in February in order to nail down my summer in Southern California. So, you know that saying, it takes 10 calls to get one sale? That's exactly what this is. You cannot do one. You have to apply for them all at one time and then manage it somehow, track it somehow, right? You know where you've applied, who you've talked to, who you haven't talked to, when your call is, when your interview is, when are they making a decision. You know, sometimes if something works out, I just say yes immediately, and we'll say yes on the phone if it seems like it's a good fit. And I'll go back to the house sitting platform and just hit decline. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to look at my application. I've accepted another one. I'm sure you'll find somebody great, and maybe in the future we can work together. You get into these relationships, and honestly, from last summer, I'm probably still in touch with everyone, with 50% of the people I talk with. We're on Facebook together, we're texting. I find that I'm getting referrals all the time. Going back to a home that you know, and an animal that you know and that you're comfortable in, it's like the best. It's the easiest thing in the world. Part 3, why preparing for a house sit is important. And I'm going to go over my tips and tricks about gaining trust with your host before you even get there, and when you arrive, and while you're there, and after you leave. The YouTube channel, all of these lives are all set up here. You can put the notifications on. So this is how you get the house sitting guide. So this is the whole course. There's part 1, part 2. So if you go to part 1, so the video from part 1 is there, the guide is there, the rest of the course you can view, a little bit of information. And so I created this on my website in order to show them my experience. And so that's what I include at the bottom of my application, is this link to these house sits that I've had. And people have really liked it. And it also has my profile to Trusted House Sitters here. It has the link to Trusted House Sitters if they want to join, and they can contact me directly. And I'm hoping that I'm offering some information of value that will help you travel well for less. And just make sure you sign up for the email list. Thanks so much, you guys. Have a wonderful afternoon and a great week ahead. And I'll see you in a couple weeks. And if not, online before then. Bye.